Show me December 2025 for Capricorns. December 2025 for Capricorn. So, in the beginning of December, you have the moon reversed, the Eight of Swords, and you have the King of Pentacles. There's a lot of fears that are coming to the surface, but I think that you're suppressing them. So what you're doing is you have some level of fear around a decision, which could be around a romantic or financial decision, a business decision, something like that. But what you're doing is you're having these fears. You're not really trusting them, so you're suppressing them. And then you're putting yourself in this position where you're backed into a corner a little bit. Now, I think with this King of Pentacles here, if this King of Pentacles is not you in the beginning of December, then I think that you likely have the support of a very strong, masculine, generous figure in your life who's trying to help you in some way, shape, or form. If this is you, I think that you kind of, instead of allowing yourself to be backed into a corner, you lean on what you know. You lean on what is already established in your life. So it could be that money ends up being very good despite some kind of circumstance that you're fearing or some kind of worry that you have. It seems like it still works out okay. A new romantic cycle begins. So this is for the beginning of December. So maybe that's kind of what's happening. Maybe you have a lot of fears around relating or a relationship, but something here is coming in that's going to support you in a way that I'm kind of getting like you don't expect it with that moon reversed. In mid-December, okay, but you don't trust it. The Queen of Cups reversed. The Eight of Cups. All right. The Three of Wands. Be cautious. If this is a relationship in your life that's actually going really well and something that is really positive for you, don't self-sabotage because you're afraid that it's going to turn out like every last relationship, okay? Because I think that a little bit of fear can kind of happen. Then you have embrace solitude, and it says reflect deeply for survival. Keep your mind open as answers reveal lessons in the quiet of introspection. Well, maybe you are doing the right thing here. Maybe you're feeling like you need to separate yourself from something or someone or a group of people or whatever it is to kind of figure out what it is that you want. Like with that Three of Wands, I'm almost getting this air of independence. Like there's something that you've been maybe attached to for a while, and maybe you've listened to a lot of other people's opinions on what you should do about it. But now with that Three of Wands, I think that you're looking to the future. And in order to have that future of whatever that may look like, you may be needing to walk away from things that don't really emotionally resonate with you. I almost want to say anymore. And the end of December, we have the King of Swords. So you're getting clear. The Six of Wands. A lot of you guys are going to get some level of attention or accolades for some kind of idea that you may present, maybe to a superior, maybe on social media, whatever it is. There's a lot of success, but that Page of Wands reverse. Don't get caught up in the limelight too much, Capricorn, because I think that you may get, I almost want to say like a little comfortable with something. Like you may get a little bit comfortable with the success that you get or the success that you acquire in the end of December, but then you may get so comfortable in that you don't really make progress towards something else. You have Pisces. It can be something creatively. Maybe you have a Pisces in your life or you have Pisces placements. Allow yourself to open up to new ideas, compassion. Listen to your intuition, specifically at the end of December. I also feel like it's possible there may be a level of intimacy that is available to you in the end of December. And I also think it's not so much about pressing something, but letting something go and just kind of seeing where it flows. Like, don't be afraid to open yourself up to new ideas and new prospects. Okay. So let's see. Tell me about that moon reverse for Capricorn in the beginning of December. Tell me about that moon reversed for Capricorn. The Seven of Pentacles. There's a realization that you're having around whom or what you need to be invested in. Because I see you invested in a couple of different things in the beginning of December. And I'm kind of feeling like there's something here regarding that full moon in Gemini that we're having on December 4th. And, you know, you think about Gemini, and Gemini can be about communication, yes, but it can also be about decisions and having a couple of different options. And so I think you guys are having a realization in regards to what's going to pay off and what's not. The only thing is, when it's following that Eight of Swords, to me, that's you trying to second guess yourself, even though there's an awareness of what is more realistic or what is going to give you a return on the work that you're putting in and what's not. But you're still doing this like, oh, well, maybe, you know. It's kind of like let's just be super cliche and think of a like a romantic example. Let's say you have one person who really isn't that invested in you, and they're kind of inconsistent, and it's really just not a sure thing, but maybe you're really sexually attracted to them. Okay, great. Then you have one where it's like, yeah, you're kind of attracted to them, you know, there's definitely some attraction there, but they're super serious about you and they're super invested, and it's like, you know the answer, but you're still kind of like, well, maybe. It's like, well, be for real, you know. By the way, I have my blanket here. It's so cold in Virginia. So let's see that Eight of Swords. Why is that Eight of Swords there in the beginning of December for Capricorn? The Chariot. It's more of a fear. Again, the Chariot can also talk about a couple of different paths. And there may be a path that you've traveled before, and you may be stuck in that loop, but there also can be a new path that you have not taken before, you know, trying something different, trying something new. But the thing is that it's going to ask for courage. And I think that if you can just be honest with yourself about the decision that you need to make, and instead of trying to scare yourself out of newness, or instead of trying to, yeah, see, a new romantic cycle begins, you know, trying to scare yourself out of that, you may be needing to choose a little bit braver, you know, choose with a little bit more audacity, I guess you could say. Tell me about that King of Pentacles. Nine of Swords reverse. There's something that is more mature, more giving. And with that Nine of Swords reverse, it's almost like a no-brainer. There's somebody who's like relieving a lot of your problems, I think. I think that there's something that's more established for you, and you know, it's a no-brainer in my opinion, but it's just maybe not something that you're used to. And that King of Pentacles can also be you, even if you're a woman. So to me, this is you making the responsible choice instead of like being so concerned and focused on what may happen if you don't. Yeah, Two of Pentacles. It's making a practical choice. So let's see what's going on for mid-December for you. Tell me about that Queen of Cups reversed for mid-December for Capricorn. Really? Mm. Mm-mm-mm. It's a match made in heaven, but the feminine is untrusting. a match made in heaven, but the feminine is inner feels, and maybe for a good reason. There is this deep desire for love and vulnerability in the middle of December, but there's also this sense of being drained or feeling like one must give it to themselves first to feel whole, and that's absolutely valid. There's so much newness in the energy. There's this such a new path that you seem to be paving, but there is a lot of fear around it, and that's normal. I think that you may need to honestly spend a little bit of time alone in mid-December to really regroup and figure out like what it is that you want, you know? And I had to do that recently as well, where I messed up with somebody, with a couple of people actually. And I had to apologize to a couple of different people with this new moon in Scorpio that we had. But I, I was asking advice from my mom. I was like, should I apologize to these people or should I just kind of let it go? And my mom was like, well, it depends. What do you want? What's the end goal? Right? And are you okay with your conscience? Like, is your conscience feeling some way about it? So it's really about asking yourself at the end of the day, what do I want? And what decision do I need to make? What energy do I need to have or create within myself in order to make this a reality? It's all about what you want, truly. Sometimes it's also about what you need. Because, I could want to eat 15 cookies in one sitting. Hello, moon and Taurus, Taurus rising, baby, but that's not really what I need. So it's about being honest with yourself about that. But I see somebody who's showing up very mature, emotionally available. Let's see why that Eight of Cups is there. Ace of Cups reversed again. You're asking yourself if something is realistic. Is something romantic enough? Even if it's not about love, am I emotionally attached to this? Or has this become mundane? What do I need to give myself first before I give to XYZ? Tell me about that Three of Wands for mid-December for Capricorn. The Page of Pentacles reversed. Yeah. You are, oh wow. This is a big one. This is a big one, Capricorn. Because with that Three of Wands, you're ready to venture out, but you're trying to figure out what it is that you want, I believe. You're putting something out there, you're seeing what sticks, right? But the thing is that with that Page of Pentacles reversed, you don't want the mundane and the boring anymore. Queen of Pentacles reversed to the Empress. Yeah, look, Eight of Pentacles reverse. Something is boring, you're not feeling it anymore. Like even if it's just the way that you've gone about something. And so you're trying to discover what it is that you truly desire, but from a different standpoint now, because you are different. Something has changed within you. And I think it's been transforming and changing for a while, where now you may be requiring more of yourself. Okay. So you may be having more and putting more expectations on yourself to become the better version and best version, more beautiful, more handsome version, more talented, more creative version. But that also means that you are wanting your external reality to reflect that. I think that you are finding your self-worth, understanding that you've had it the entire time, and allowing your external reality to reflect that, like I stated. So let's see the end of December. Tell me about that King of Swords. The High Priestess. Ooh. That's that's a double threat there, and I mean that in the best way possible, because when you mix something like the King of Swords and the High Priestess together, this is intuition mixed with extreme intelligence and logic. You're getting very clear about what you know and how you can apply that to your life. You're getting very clear about your relationships, whether it's family or romantic, what makes you happy and really what doesn't, where you feel like you keep pouring into an empty cup, right? We kind of saw that with that Ace of Cups reversed. Sometimes the Ace of Cups reversed with the Eight of Cups can be like, I pour so much into this thing and like it never goes anywhere, so I have to go, And so you're getting very honest with yourself about your emotions and how you feel about things, and where you feel more connected and what you feel more connected to. And you're not sharing everything. Like you're not sharing everything that you feel. It's like you're leading with logic, but you know a lot more than you say, I think. You're only allowing people to see what you want them to see. A lot of you could be getting some really great advice as well about your potential and where you could go with something. Tell me about that Six of Wands. The King of Wands reversed. I notice there's a lot of masculinity here. You have all of the kings on the table. The only king that is reversed is this King of Wands. Don't let something get to your head, all right? If you are this King of Wands reversed, don't let something get to your head. Because I think that you can be getting some level of recognition for your talents, gifts, skills, abilities, or something like that, maybe romantic attention, but you may let it get to your head. And when you let it get to your head, you become outwardly dependent on that level of validation or attention to validate what you're worth. Okay. Which is not confidence, it's just ego, right? And for others of you, be cautious of how much attention that you give to others, because there can be somebody who lets it get to their head, And then you could be like, okay, well, never mind. Page of Wands reversed. Pulling back on that, right? Because that's not attractive. And for some of you, you're too humble. For some of you, it can be that you're just too humble. Okay. And I believe in humility, but like it's okay to be adored or admired. It's okay to receive compliments. Just accept them with grace and move on. You know what I mean? Because you are getting some level of recognition. Tell me about that Page of Wands reversed for the end of December. The Five of Swords reversed. Yeah, if it is about somebody who is getting a little bit in their head, you could be like, okay, you're kind of backing it up a little bit because you may feel like somebody's just trying to play games, and you're like, I'm not gonna do it, not gonna lower myself for that, right? Why is that King of Wands reversed? The Ace of Wands. Whoa, that's a lot of fire, baby. See, I don't really know if this is you or somebody else. It feels like there's a level of like admiration going on, and somebody is feeling very attracted or very inspired to go after said thing, but it's almost like they're trying to, this King of Wands reverse is trying to subdue it. like they're trying to hold back a little bit. They're trying not to like be too loud or be too forthcoming. It's really interesting. And so these fears that you're having, acting like you don't know the right decision, you do know the right decision. It doesn't mean that it's an easy decision to make. You know the right decision. And there's a lot of love I think that you have, and advice and rediscovery that you're having this month. And I think that you want your heart to be in it. I think that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. You don't want it just to be into the ethers. You don't want it to just fill some void. You want your heart to truly be into something for you to grasp onto it in the way that you want. And I think that you will. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much, Capricorn. I hope that you have a great December. And if you want to book a reading with me, you can do so on my website at violettaalexis.com. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.